What's good, guys? Hope everybody's doing amazingly well. I wanted to post a recent, I guess you can call it overview training that I did with our closed community of the members of our program. And, new year, we're in January right now, 2024. A lot of people maybe didn't accomplish what they wanted to accomplish in 2023, right? Or maybe the year before that, right? A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to figure out what their goals are. So we did this session, we talked about that, and then I gave everybody an overview of the pathway to set up a digital marketing business, and then what it looks like when you go to start scaling, when you go to the long-term game plan, so you can make more than 6 figures and beyond. Right, so I'm going to take a snippet of that, post it here for free, just so you guys can also potentially benefit from it. See you soon. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for hopping on. Cool, we're just getting set up. Hi, Kylie. Hey, Ben. Vin in the car with the shades. Looking good, man. What do you drive, Vin? I know that you're super into cars.
I'm not driving, actually. I have my driver sending me back to the airport in Jakarta. I'm finally leaving Indonesia.
Oh, no.
So my driver's is taking me back to the airport.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah. In terms of car, I just got rid of my M4, mate. So I'm looking for a replacement now. Also have a C43, but I used to track a Lotus. I have a Lotus Exige.
Lotus, nice. Never driven a Lotus.
Yes.
That's dope.
Very different, mate. Doesn't feel like a car.
They're incredibly light.
Does not feel like a car.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So that's 900 kilo. I had the Series 2, but the original Exige is like 900 kilos. So it feels like a go-kart. It's just so different. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we've got a couple more people hopping in. Good to see you, Lennon. Hey, Grant. Stuart, glad you made it. Good to see you. Kanane's here. Cool. Ellie and Wes are here as well. So we've got 12 on the call so far, 7:02. I imagine people will join as we go. We are still in January, so I think people are kind of like chilling, which is a shame because now is a great time, to really get out there and make some stuff happen. I recently had some big wins on my end. I sent out a couple of emails to some old clients, ended up signing 2 clients up. So I wanted to showcase sort of what I put in those emails, how that happened. This is like people that I used to work with years ago, reigniting it, right? Which can happen. Like one of the things that you guys don't realize is every single connection you make in your business, as long as it's a genuine connection, right? And like, let's say you end up working together. If you do, that's amazing. If not, if it wasn't the right time back then, hey, maybe it's the right time now. And I've got a couple of examples to show you today, on the call. And also I'm just excited, man, because like I miss you guys and I wanted to catch up with you and sort of see what everyone's up to. Good to see you, Sam. It's been a little while since you've been on one of these calls, but glad you're back here. And yeah, I'd love to know, guys, how was your holiday? Have you been working on your business? Yes or no? Like, let me know in the chat. How was your holiday? What have you been up to? Have you been working on your business? Yes or no? Just so I can get a feel for who's been doing stuff over the break and who's kind of just like really starting back up again. Let me know in the chat. I'll put some tunes back on. Cool, sound's just restarting now. That's sweet. Yeah, cool. Got a couple more people joining. Vin says, I realized last month my type of holidays is when I can work hard and play hard. So last month has been epic. Nice, man. That's awesome. When you can really get on a roll, like that, it feels really good. Good to see you, Daniel. Thanks for hopping on. The question I've got for you guys that are just hopping on now is, how was your holidays? What did you get up to? And did you work on your business, at all in this time? Let me know in the chat, please, guys. Lennon went away with the family. Not much done. Felt like I got off the wagon. Cool. Restarted from yesterday. Nice. Thank you for being honest. Thanks for letting me know. So I want to know where everyone's at because it's going to dictate how I take this session today. I've got some stuff that I want to show you and just kind of like a bit of a reset, right, of the entire thing. We're in the new year. Let's reset. Let's get some stuff happening. Cool. So not much deep work for Daniel. That's cool. I haven't heard from Kylie yet. Haven't heard from Kanan yet. Ben, if you could let me know where you guys are at, that'd be great. All right, so got a couple more. Ben hasn't done too much. Christmas makes sense. Christina worked on the mindset goals, started with action steps this week. Cool. Kylie, haven't done much. Feel like restarting. Okay. Grant, been going back and forth with the solar cleaning client over the holidays, trying to get the campaign up. Yeah, so we saw your review there over the holidays. Let's see how those first ads go, mate. I'll be keen to see. One of those creatives that you had, I think Chelsea and I both pointed out, was probably stronger than the others, so we'll see. Whereas super busy with work, spent time with family, have been thinking of target market for my niche, but haven't taken any action. Okay, cool. All right, makes sense. So at the end of the day, right, like, unless you guys actually, like, I really spent a lot of time thinking as well over the break, and it's like, I don't believe that there is anything holding you back from doing partnerships with businesses from the get-go, right? So if you're in a position where you feel like you're restarting, or you don't have any businesses that you're working with, one thing that I've seen throughout the year is like people, and in terms of the action items that people do, it's like, oh, I'll need to go through some videos first, or I will need to, think about what my niche could be first, and spend a lot of time doing that. I can tell you, like, more often than not, those are things that you're doing in order for you to feel confident, for you to feel prepared. But a lot of the journey involved in building a business is the journey of stepping out of your comfort zone and doing stuff that you don't yet know how to do, but like trusting yourself, and also trusting the process and trusting the people that you have around you to support you, that when time comes, when push comes to shove, that you'll be able to figure it out, right? So there's going to be some changes to the structure of the program. We're changing it up right now, but very soon, what we're going to do is like really limit the amount of stuff that you guys do before you actually get out there and start doing deals with businesses. Because there's two ways to do this, right? We can think about everything. We can put together the most perfect plan, the best goals ever, break it all down in excruciating detail, and then, okay, now I'm ready to do it. At least you think you are. And then you go out there and actually try to, start doing it. And then it's like, oh shit, now I actually have to do something. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, all those same emotions come back up. Like, oh man, this is going to be hard. This is going to be scary. What if they reject me? What if X, Y, Z, right? What if they call me out and tell me that I'm not experienced enough, or I'm not qualified to be helping anybody, right? And I think these are like the big fears that we have. But having now done this program for like years, I can count on, like, it's probably only happened like once or twice that someone has genuinely got like a nasty character, like when they're out and trying to work with businesses, if they're coming from a place of authenticity. The place of authenticity is, hey, I don't know everything, I found your business though, and it looks like it has a lot of potential. I'm learning this stuff, or I'm just getting better, or I'm really trying to enter this industry, and I've done other industries, like whatever situation you're in, and I really want to help somebody. I'd love to help you. You know, that's the overall energy that you need to have when you're conversing with someone, because that's the only way that they're going to feel confident or comfortable to work with you. And that applies even if you have a lot of experience. Just think about that for a second. Like if you've got years on the board and you're a super expert, I'll tell you what happens sometimes. When I'm talking to businesses, because I've now started to put out content and whatnot, right? They're actually more skeptical and more afraid to work with me than they would be to work with you. Because they're like, oh, he might just be trying to like, you know, he might be too expensive, or he might be trying to, you know, sell me into something, you know, and all of this. Like I actually get more resistance than you would. So when you're starting out, this is the mindset shift that I want you to have. If you feel like you're starting out or you're restarting, it will never be easier for you to land clients than it is right now. Because this shit doesn't get easier, guys. This shit only gets more challenging, but you grow in accordance with it. You just get better in accordance with it, right? So what I want to really stress is like, I think that what you can do is cut out everything and just focus on the thing that's most important, which is like, let's get out there and find some businesses to help and work with. And I made a post in the inner circle asking you guys to complete a poll, right? And I know that people are away on holiday and stuff like that, but we've got 8 votes so far on the poll. And this is what it looks like. I'm like, hey, which one of these is most interesting to you or that you want to learn more about? So far, most people have said strategies to get clients. So this is telling me that like, this is the main sticking point or the main thing to focus on, you know, when it comes to the type of content that we should create or the stuff that we should talk about on these calls and all of that. Second is building funnels and systems to get higher quality leads. This is probably for you guys that you already have clients. Like this then becomes your main thing, which we will talk about as well today. And, you know, who's brave enough to select mindset, confidence. Oops, let's undo that. Mindset, confidence, and staying focused, right? Fair enough. You know, that impacts everybody. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. Hopefully you got some good stuff from Chelsea last week. It should have been really a session around setting goals and stuff like that. Like, was that good? You know, hopefully it was. But of all the things that I think that we should do more of, or talk about more of, or focus on, it's probably strategies to get clients. And I'm telling you, like, I really just genuinely think that's the first thing to do, you know, like in a way. Obviously you need to figure out what your niche is, or what businesses you want to target. I guess we can talk about that. I noticed that was brought up here a little bit as well. Wes says, super busy with work, thinking of my target market for my niche, but haven't taken any action. And it's usually what happens, right? You think about who's going to be my target market, who's going to be my niche, what am I going to be focused on? And that thing ends up taking a bunch of time. And then you end up sort of pigeonholing yourself at the very beginning. I almost don't want you to worry too much about that. Just simply, does this business lead leads, right? And ideally, like, are they charging something reasonably, you know, high priced, right? If they exist, like if the business exists and they're making money, then they are solving a problem. Like there is an audience out there for them, right? So it's not like there is no one out there that you can connect them with. It's just a question of like, how do we do that? Like, how do we actually create the best campaign that is going to connect them to the right type of customers? And can we do it profitably? Even if you can't, you know, you launch a campaign and it's not the best, highest converting campaign in the world, the very fact that you did it once is the point. Like the point isn't to do it perfectly the first time. The point is simply to do, right? And what I'm seeing is people aren't taking that first step because they're feeling like they're not yet qualified to do so. And then for those of you guys that are working with clients, what I'm seeing is you've stepped outside of your comfort zone. You've done it once, right? But then you delay charging money, you know, and you delay charging money potentially for the very first, like before you create a campaign, right? Because that is the next step. And there are multiple sort of progressions and steps, right? It's like at the very beginning, you're a beginner, right? So it's like, let me just see if someone wants to work with me, right? I don't feel congruent with this. This is a whole new thing. Let me just, okay, fine, I'll just freaking do it. And then you just do a bunch of times, like, oh my God, someone responded to me. Oh, okay, let me have a conversation with them. You just like shit your pants on the phone and it doesn't go well, right? But then you do it again. It's like, oh my God, I've landed my first trial client or client, right? And then it ends up going well. You might transition that into a paid relationship. But then when it comes to transitioning that, you don't feel fully congruent, ask for money. You ask for the money and then you're congruent with it. But now you're comfortable with that process. The next level is to basically learn how to be what I call like an actual expert, right? And so like we have a lot of these ideas around what experts are. Ben says, I have a client meeting this week plus $10,000 product. Getting started was the issue before. I'll have the time now. Epic. Nice. The next level, right, is meeting with somebody, and instead of doing a free trial, you start charging for what you do, right, from the very, very beginning. So I want to show you how I do that, with clients that I sign up for agency. I want to show you a little bit about the thinking and the process behind it, but it's a lot of the same stuff. It's like, it's about you being willing to actually step out of your comfort zone and do that, and then being congruent in doing that. The only way that you can ever be congruent, I believe, is if you genuinely, like let's say you start working with the business, that you genuinely are going to give it a good go working with the business, that you're going to do a good job with them, and that they feel that, right? And a lot of that comes down to how you choose to sell them into the actual service. I'm going to show you how we charge a couple of deals that I've got going right now. One will be a $12,000 setup. The other one will probably be more like an $18,000 setup. I'm going to show you how we do it at, you can start with anywhere from 6K, all the way to 20, and more, depending on the type of business and sort of what you feel congruent with, right? But you kind of climb that ladder. The very first campaigns that I created for businesses, I was charging $1,500 a month with no like lock-in period or anything like that. It was just $1,500 a month, when I first started charging. Then I progressed to charging $5,000 just to set something up, and then something afterwards, like a retainer or a commission or stuff like that, right? Then I built my own sort of little websites that I owned, and I started charging per lead, sometimes also with a setup. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do when you transition from that beginner phase into that more like, okay, I feel like I'm able to get leads. I feel like I've done it now once or twice for a couple of businesses. If I was to really give it a good go for my next business and they were to pay me from the get-go, and I would get reviewed by Zane, by the team, and by everybody else, that I would do a good job, for them in setting it up. And hey, even if it doesn't go incredibly well, you don't have to sell the world. You can just continue to support them until they make their money back. Yeah, it's per campaign. Yeah, so I was like, hey, I'll build you a campaign. How much? They'll say, how much is it? I'm like, for $1,500, per month. And that was how I got my first clients, right? Just doing that. I eventually learned that you can only get so many $1,500 a month clients before things get kind of really hectic. There was a point where I had close to 20 of them, and the agency was doing good. I mean, it was like above, 20, 30K a month, right? But it was really hectic. And so I had to start increasing my prices. Like, these are the journeys that business owners go through. They get comfortable at one stage doing one thing, charging one thing, and they improve on their skills and they get better, but sometimes they stay stuck in a certain spot because it's what they're comfortable doing. And that's what I did. Like, I literally worked my ass off, for a long time. And yeah, I mean, I was making good money, right? But there is simpler ways to do it, and more aligned ways to do it. And the cool thing about what you guys are doing is like starting, doing digital marketing, starting a digital marketing agency or doing digital marketing for yourself is like, you get to really pick who you want to work with. You get to pick how many people you want to work with. And sometimes it's okay to work with less people, but be more incentivized to get them a good result and have like a partnership or agreement with them where you can grow with the business, So yeah, these are all the ideas that I think are worth discussing. But I don't want to go into like a full monologue and everything. I want to make sure that you guys feel supported on this call. It's been a while since we caught up. So yeah, it'd be good to just first check in with you and see if there's anything that you guys are currently finding as a sticking point in your business. And what I mean by that is like, are you stuck with anything in particular, or is there anything that you want to get more clarity on? We can unmute the mic, we can have a conversation, and do all of that. Grant says, this reminds me of $100 million offers more value because more money and less clients. Yeah, exactly. You provide more value over time. So the question for you guys is there anything that you're stuck with in your business or a particular topic that you want to just have a chat about? I can just talk about it. We can unmute. It can be more than just me. It can be you guys chiming in and contributing. Or if there isn't, maybe let me know. Maybe just head over here or let me know which one of these things is most interesting to you, and then submit your vote here. That'd be really cool. I don't know if you guys could do that. But yeah, in the chat, let me know any sticking points in your business. Vin says, can you please share with us the timeline and the price changes that you did with your business? Okay, sure. So here's what I did. The very first client I ever landed was a guy called Michael McQueen, who was a speaker, and he wanted to run some ads. And he was like this technologist, like he was like he did like corporate events and stuff like that. And I was working, I just launched my agency. I just hired, I guess you could say, a guy called Alex. I was like, hey man, do you want to partner with me? He wasn't really a hire, he was a partner. And we're talking way back in, 2017, 2018, or something like that. And so that client, that first one, I didn't know what to charge or what to do, but I was like, hey, let me build out this campaign for you. He actually came in, I actually met him in person, and I ended up charging, I think it was $3,000, to do it. And we sat down, we had a meeting and everything, but we were like, let's just charge for this, from the get-go. And he ended up saying yes. And we were just like, holy shit. And we were so excited, about the entire thing. And then we just poured our heart and soul out into that campaign. We ended up getting leads, and ended up going okay, but the overall level of experience and everything wasn't, so far advanced that we ended up working together for like 6 months, and he wanted stuff done here and there, and I was just doing a little bit of everything. But I got some help, as well through Alex. And that's another thing that you guys can do. Like if you're finding it really hard to stay on track, you might just be lonely. That might be something. Like if there's somebody to work with, or even a friend that you want to bring along, for the ride, that could be good. And I think that's one of the main advantages of working with Alex, who, by the way, if you guys don't know, went on to build like a $300,000 per month marketing company, which is amazing. He didn't have too much experience in marketing to begin with. Then what I realized is that I had to have awkward conversations with this client to like ask for more money, because he kept asking for more things to do. Like this doesn't work long term, because I feel like it would be a lot more simpler if I just had one service, one thing that I was able to charge consistently for, and that's like all we did. And if you guys go and you get into business and you read into business and everything, that the real reason, like the real way to grow a business is to build a system, right? To build something that you can replicate again and again. And then maybe one day you don't have to be the person that builds it out, right? Because you've already got paying clients, and whenever you have a new project come along, you can pay somebody else to do it, which is what I'm doing right now. I've got agency clients, but I work with Shawl to help deliver on them. and Shaw also does some reviews and some coaching, inside of this program, right? So I think about like 6 months after that very first thing, started doing the $1,500 a month bit, really went ham on that for like another year. It was a point as well where COVID hit, right? And I was really getting into we were generating leads. That's all we were doing. But I was really getting into the idea of like, what's the next step? Like, how do I build this out? How do I scale this? And I really like the idea of just, creating my own brand and doing things like pay per lead. So COVID hit at some point, and I remember like I lost a bunch of agency clients. I think I lost like 4 or 5 clients, which was, it was okay. It was definitely a hit, for sure. But we had so many at that point that it was getting hectic, right? So in a way, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because it gave me the space to try out new things. And so I tried out pay per lead and building, my own sort of campaigns and everything. One of them was a solar campaign, which I've talked about before. I tell these stories, but I try to summarize them. And if we're like on a group call, I'll just go into depth. But yeah, that was really eye-opening because working with one business, all of a sudden, like there was no barrier to entry. Like I also, there was no reason for them to say no as well because it was just like per lead, it was per performance. So I did a pay per lead campaign, and then I started charging a fee to set up the campaign and then pay per lead afterwards. So have been doing that, for a little while, always have clients here and there. At this point, across the full timeline of me actually doing digital marketing and working with clients, I've had about 75 clients in total. Obviously, it's been years, now at this point. And we still have some, right? We still have a good handful of clients, but I don't like actually work with Shaw to manage them, and I oversee the campaigns and look at them and make sure they're all good. And he's the one that really, meets with the clients. And then what I'm really doing at this point is I'm trying to transition into more of the expert stage. Okay. So if you're just starting out your journey here, you're at the beginner stage. That's the very first stage. You're just trying to get up and running, get your first clients, figure out the industry that you want to get into, etc. And then eventually you transition into the expert stage. And this is where maybe you have an idea of the type of businesses that you can really help, and you can do well. Maybe you start to make, your own little personal website set up. You have a more professional LinkedIn profile. You create your own marketing assets, right? Because theoretically, guys, like you guys know the math, right? Like if you get leads for anything less than $50 and you're selling a $5,000 product or service, right? And the average rate of conversion is like, let's say 1 in 10 or hell, even 1 in 20 leads. Then you're paying between $500 to $1,000 to make 5, right? So the question you can have when you move into expert stage is like, how can I create an offer worth $5,000, right, at the very least, or $3,000 or whatever you feel comfortable with? Because if you can get to that point, then you can use the same skills that you were doing for other people along your journey and then compound it back on yourself. Like you can run your own ads, as well to get clients. And that's really like the next level, right? And we don't do it at the very beginning because I don't want you guys going out and spending a bunch of money, without really getting runs on the board, right? At first, which I think is fair enough. And I think that you can also do things very organically, let's say, at the very beginning. Yeah, Alex was the guy I did the video with. Yeah, so he's progressed a lot since. Vin says, how much do you charge for setups? Yeah, so at this point we're doing 12K for setups, right? But in the past, it was 5, 7.5 at one point. So I reckon you guys can do that as well. If you feel confident and congruent doing it, I'll walk you through how we did it today, if that's cool. So we've got a couple of sticking points that have been posted. Lennon says, my second point, I had two businesses, chiro, acupuncturists, who showed interest to let me have a go, but they seemed to back off. It made me depressed, and now I'm thinking whether I should look into other niches. Lennon, at what time frame did they back off? If you want to unmute, that'd be really useful.
No, just before the holidays.
Okay, so why do you think they backed off?
Well, they haven't reached out yet, maybe, or I need to probably proactively reach out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. And I think that you know that this is a you thing, right? So there's like this emotional effect of like you reached out to somebody they were interested in, now what's happened. They might still be on holiday, you know. Everybody sort of does wind down over the holiday. But what you're experiencing is an emotional response that isn't actually grounded in information that you know, because you don't know what happened there. You don't know if they've had an issue with, pop up in their life or their business, if they're on holiday, if what's happened, right? And so, why are we taking it personally? Even if they decide to back off, it's very often like very little to do with you. After like running marketing for a very long time and building my business as well for a very long time, I've just realized that like people, they just don't care, unless you make them care. And they're busy. They've got their life. They're being bombarded with 101 messages from 101 different people. Even when you create a marketing campaign, right? You run an ad. It's the most perfect ad on the planet. You've spent so long making, the creative great and the words great and whatever, and you launch it and people fill in their details and they become a lead. And then, 24 hours passes, the business calls and they're like, well, who's this? Like, what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? So the amount of, touch points that you need and the amount of exposure is more than you think, and so you should never feel like you can't reach back out, like you can't close the loop. Like, you're entitled to that, but you have to make the effort to do that, right? So like, let's say sometimes people feel this, and my wife sometimes feels this. Like, she's actually starting a law firm and we're building out her landing pages right now, which I'm happy to show you guys if you want to see. She's landing her first clients at this point, and she's like, oh, he hasn't responded to me. Should I text him? What should I? I'm like, just pick up the phone and call him. Just call. Like, no, that's weird. But I already sent an email. It's like, no, but he doesn't care about your email. He doesn't even remember your email. He's got 10 unread emails in his inbox. He doesn't give a shit. Call him. He's like, what should I say if I call him? I'm like, say, hey, I've got a note here to reach back out to you, and just to close the loop on what we were talking about. I really would love to work with you, but I just was wondering where you were at. I think I sent an email a few days ago. I'm not sure you got it, but hey, I thought it might just be better if I call. Like, what are they going to say? They're going to say thank you for being the person that is proactive and taking mental strain and effort on me to follow up, because I've been meaning to get back to you. I just haven't had the time. Or, oh yeah, I haven't really thought about this, up until now. That's okay. Why not? Is this just not a priority? If not, that's okay. And like, you be the person, you can proactively just end it if it's not right. But it's those, those touch points, right? When you're feeling like, here's what it feels like to be on a roll, right, in your agency. You've got about 5, 6, 7, maybe more opportunities happening at the same time. You're not tied to any one of those opportunities. You're not like emotionally invested in those opportunities, but you're simply doing what is required to close the loop on all of those opportunities. And you're not being emotional about it, right? Like, I'm going to continue following up with this person across 3 emails. I'm going to text them, and I'm also going to call them. And that's just my thing if I don't close the loop. And if they haven't closed the loop with me at that point, okay, fine. I'll just let that one go. I'll know for sure that I did everything within my power to give this person the help that they said that they needed, or that they said they were interested in, or that they could potentially need. And I can sleep well at night knowing that I've done that, right? Like, you doing that is a service, to them. It's not you being annoying or anything like that. So just a little rant there. That's what I think about that sticking point. I think anyone here who's landed clients, like, just, nod if you can agree with some of that. Vin says yes, which is good. Cool. So Sam says, could you show us some of the campaigns you're charging 12K for? It doesn't have to be the actual landing pages, just like the structure. Yeah, sure. All right, I'll show those campaigns in just a sec, and then we'll walk through some training in just a sec. I just want to see if there's any questions here that I can just quickly answer while we're here. Otherwise, we're going to get on a whole new train, and God knows where we're going to end up. So Cindy says, I noticed my local gym is running ads, which could be better. I found out the owner is doing them himself. Yeah, which is common. My question is, should I go offer him help and do some ads on my own for practice, knowing he probably wouldn't be able to pay me at the end? Or should I say nothing and just give it a miss and go in the direction of going after the niche? So either open up his ads and give him some feedback on them, which is valuable for anybody running ads. Like, imagine you had to run ads by yourself with a business that is your livelihood. Things have been closed for a while. No one's coming into your gym. You're turning on ads, running them like, let me fill my gym, right? And maybe he has done them in the past or whatever, but he hasn't had any feedback. Maybe that's something he would value. Maybe as well, like, you could make an advertisement for him and be like, hey, I saw you running ads. I thought it was really awesome. I'm learning digital marketing. I just had a couple of ideas. Here's how I would have done it in my program. And by the way, send it to us as well. We'll review it and stuff. And I guarantee you it'll be a strong ad, when you send it to him. Like, hey, do you just want to test this one alongside what you're currently doing? It would be really great if you could. And if you do really well, I would just love, the chance to get a testimonial from you, or a kind word, or whatever it is, right? Easy way to get in, just providing value before you even ask for money or anything, which is the whole premise of helping people at the very beginning. Like, that's probably 2 things that come to mind when it comes to that. Okay, so Daniel says, when's the best time to call in relation to the emails and follow-ups? Yeah, it's kind of a lottery because you don't know what someone's personal schedule is like. Business owners work at all hours. Even if you want to call them after hours, a lot of time you could get in, and have a conversation after hours, because they're just kind of like always working and doing stuff. Probably would avoid 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., as the main thing. Or too early as well. But I think anything after that is pretty much fair game. Generally, according to all the timing-based things that I've done throughout my career, things like sending out emails, like, some companies are very particular around when they want you to send out an email. They find the best days to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can imagine Monday, really, really busy. Friday, everybody's coming down. Tuesday, hopefully you got some stuff knocked out on Monday. You got a little bit of time to think about stuff on Tuesday. Not a bad day. Thursday, right before the week's over, or even Wednesday. I guess Wednesday is like it's the middle of the week. It's a happy middle, right? So what I'm saying is preferentially the middle days of the week, and at times when they would likely be available. So I've had a lot of success at around 12 o'clock, lunchtime periods, early morning times when they're just getting started, on the day. And surprisingly as well, just, SMSing or reaching out in the evening as well. Sometimes an SMS in the evening works a little bit better than a call, just in case, you don't want to be interrupting someone's family time too much. But an SMS, if you have the phone number, is great. If not, you can try the call as well. So that's what I think the best times are. Grant, after back and forth with client, he gets back to me after talking with his marketing manager and says they're not willing to give me anything for my own brand campaign because of IP rights, images, testimonials, or even calendar sync. Is this common? Yeah, like if you're going to make your own campaign and your own brand around it, you probably wouldn't be using their images. Those are their business images, right? So like you would be like using your own stock images, Unsplash, that type of stuff. And unless you had an agreement with them where you could use certain images from them, but like generally you can find images that are quite good for free. But yeah, this is right. Like you can share if you're creating your own campaign, you can share in the leads that you've generated in the past, I think, as long as that's okay and you guys have said so, but you're probably not going to be taking their images unless they give you permission to do it. But what you can do, right, is you can run with your own images at the beginning. And then when you actually generate the lead and when you send it off to the business, then you can use their images. Say, hey, is it okay if I use your images when I'm sending you a lead and connecting you with a potential customer? So I can show them that, show them about your business, show them what it looks like and everything. That would be the way that I would approach the conversation from the beginning. I think if you did it that way, you'd probably avoid the entire conversation around IP rights and whatnot, and be like, we require like a couple of images from your business so we can actually inform people about, your business and what you do and everything. Is that okay if you send us some of your best images? How did this conversation actually come up, Grant? Like, because it's a very logical conversation. Was it like how did this come about?
Well, I was just talking to him. Like, I didn't know which way to go, whether it was going to be pay per lead or I just do a campaign for their brand, for their business.
Yep.
But because it was a low ticket, I just thought pay per lead would be easier and work easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I went with the brand, and then showed him a few of the ideas I had. And then yeah, he just spoke with the marketing manager and just said, yeah, they just want me to send leads to an email address. Like they don't even want to give me the calendar for the franchisee who's going to be doing the jobs.
Mm.
They don't want to fish up any testimonials I can use for ads or my website. Yeah, it makes it a bit hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, if you don't have them, then you find ways of doing the best you can within the limitations. If you still want to go ahead with that one, stock images. If you don't have testimonials or like reviews or anything like that, there are other ways to generate trust, because like at the end of the day, you've got an offer and then you've got all the reasons not to take up that offer, like let's say free thing, why would you not do it? Well, because you don't, trust the thing, right? So you can add trust in a number of ways. Like you could, for example, you could use similar case studies and testimonials that they do have. If you're open to that, it's a little bit gray, and just kind of like change the name so it's not directly associated with your business. And it's obviously in relation to the actual business that you're sending them to. So that's one thing. You could use industry logos that might be effective. They're effective in some niches. So like, for example, if you're doing solar, one logo that you might use is like Clean Energy Council. People,
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, people use that logo all the time. But like generally, if your offer is really good, you're still going to get conversions, even though you don't have all those little testimonials and trust elements and stuff like that. So don't let it detract from your excitement about it. Like if you really want to do it, give it a go and launch it and see what happens. Yeah, there's not much you can do if the client's like, they're a big company, they've got a marketing manager, they're worried about IP and whatnot. It's like, well, what can you do?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, Ben, check out Canva. Probably have some logos there. Canva, Fiverr, Google. There is Flat Icon. I think it's called Flat Icon. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Yeah, it's called Flat Icon. They're all free icons, and you can search for like heaps of them, right? So like, let me show you guys how to make a logo, right? So like, let's make a solar logo. So solar panel, right? And find something that looks kind of cool. So like, I would probably use like this one, right? It's free. I'd download this, and I would use the same color theme. So like, let's download the PNG. Hold on, free download. Okay. And then let's just create a design in Canva. Why is my mouse broken? Oh. We'll do a logo. Yeah, that's fine. And then you grab your download. Okay. Hold on, my computer's lagging. Let me move your faces out of the way. Now, the thing about design, and look, there's designers actually in the program that do design. So forgive me if you have design skills and you can do way better than this, but we're talking about how to get it done easily and quickly, right? Go text. I like using, clean looking text. So I would use something like this, and I'd be like, Solar Now is my brand, right? I'll make this maybe like 40 size, maybe 35 size, maybe actually even less. We're 25 size. Yep, that works, right? And the one thing that I would do is I would match the colors, right? Or find a matte sort of color. If I wanted yellow as my theme, I'd be pretty happy with that. I might even do it like this, which is a little bit better because it's a bit better aligned. And there you go, boom. That is how I would make a logo. That is like enough, as a logo to begin with. You want to go better than that in the future, pay someone to do it. Give them like $5, $10, 15 on Fiverr. Give them the base logo that you have and get them to make it better. Really easy way to make a logo. Have you ever tried selling ads or logos on Fiverr or similar sites on the side? If so, does it work? No, don't do that. It's a waste of time. Why would you do that? Like when you could potentially charge thousands of dollars for getting business customers, that's usually a low priced, low, involvement type of thing. I mean, if you want to, it could be like your tripwire. If you guys know what that is, it's something you do as your first service to then on-sell the second service. So yeah, it sounds like a potential thing. Logos for $5 and then afterwards have a conversation around Facebook ads. It's possible, but no, I've never done that. And I think you can do better than that in general. So, all right, let me share my screen, guys. Let me show you guys some stuff. Just to give you a bit of a refresher as to what it takes to get your business off the ground, to get progressing, okay? We're gonna do a refresh. We're gonna do an overview of the process. Cindy says, is it better to design your own logo on Canva? Fiverr ones are not good because they don't care about you. Yeah, pretty much. And your logo is not the most important thing as well. It's more the message, on your ads, on your page, etc. Right? So we're just going to start at the very top to give you guys the full overview. And then what I'm going to do is throughout the coming week and weeks and months even, I'm I'm going to go through each of these things, probably make videos on them, dive deeper into them and everything, but we can go from the full overview and then we can talk about this, right? And answer any questions or anything that you guys have, right? So beginner system, stage 1, expert system, stage 2, okay? At the beginning, you are a beginner. If you're not currently working with a couple clients, making, let's say 3 to 5, K per month, a couple of niches that you're quite comfortable in, then I would say you're a beginner. And that's okay. Like, it's always okay to be a beginner. Sometimes, always the beginner stages are where we learn the most, right? So this is all you really need to do. If we were to break down the process, right? Number 1, and as I talked about earlier on the call, I think that we can just get out there and actually start working with businesses from the get-go. The only thing really stopping you from doing that is you're not fully understanding of, how it all works and everything. There's just parts of your knowledge that you're not quite sure about, right? And you can either go and learn about that first by going through the videos, or you can just get out there and do it as you go. And I actually think it's perfectly viable just to do it as you go. So this is specifically getting clients, right? Focused. Because I noticed that was one of the things that was the main point of focus for you guys, right? So what you just simply need to set up the basics, right? Here's the first thing that we need to do. Set up the basics to actually be able to be in business. That's going to involve getting a custom email signature, LinkedIn, right? Page, calendar booking link. You're going to need Gmail, right? Obviously, a Gmail setup. And you're going to need a business bank account. And you're going to need I think that's it, right? In terms of what you need. You obviously need to register your business. Okay, and you've obviously got Stripe as well to take payments. So that's all you need right here to be in business, right? We're going to get an email. We're going to set up a nice email signature that has a picture of our face that shows that we're a real person. If you don't know how to get an email signature, just go HubSpot, email sig, right? Free email signature template, right? It's completely free. So get this, right? Because it will help you. And that's what it looks like. And you just stick it on the bottom of your Gmail, right? Fill this in. LinkedIn. Set up a LinkedIn. Do a new one if you're worried about using your current one. It'll probably be useful to you because it serves as a personal website in the place of you not having one up until at the very beginning. It serves as a social channel that you can get involved in, that you can use to reach out to people. And it makes you a professional, right? At the very least, you've got a LinkedIn. So I would actually recommend you go get a LinkedIn as well at the very beginning and just set that up nice. If you've got, if you're looking for how to do that, there's a free guide in the resources section in the inner circle, professional LinkedIn guide, right? It's here. If I search LinkedIn, it should be somewhere here. Yeah, professional LinkedIn profile guide. All right, just have a look at that. It'll tell you exactly how to set up your LinkedIn. Calendar booking link, right? There's one inside of Lead Launch that you can make. If you don't know, Lead Launch is built on top of Go High Level, so you can search setup calendar, Go High Level, or just post in the community if you don't know how to do this, and we'll show you how. I'm pretty sure there's posts on this too. Business Gmail, right? Bank account, etc. Hopefully every single one of you has this. If for some reason you don't have all of these things, maybe think about, setting them up. And I would say LinkedIn is kind of also optional, but nice to have. You can put it in your email signature and whatnot. So once you have that, then what most people are doing is they're spending a lot of time thinking about niches, right? And they're trying to find the perfect niche. But if you're coming in with very little experience, maybe what you should be doing instead is getting some experience. Because even if you're approaching businesses and they say no, they might know somebody who actually does want help. And even if the campaign doesn't go crazy great, that week that you spent, building out a campaign and launching it, that actually has the potential to make you money now. Whereas the niche, sitting down and thinking and planning and everything, that has the potential to make you money in the future, right? But the issue is you don't know for sure until you actually launch it, right? We can tell you what the best niches are. We can help you pick. You can tell us what you're thinking. We'll help you make a decision. All of that. But at the end of the day, we might as well just go out and do some deals and make some stuff happen. So the way to do that in the beginner system is this way, right? Find the low-hanging fruit, okay? Or the stuff that, I guess, just like the launch process, right? The very first thing is the do you know anybody method, okay? And I still use this to this day. Do you know anyone? This is you approaching people that you know in one way or another in your network, that you have worked with in the past, that are your friends from the barbecue, whoever, right? And like, do you know anyone? And it's a really simple thing. It's like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm launching a digital marketing business. I'm looking to help business owners. I'm doing some trial campaigns to begin with. Do you know anyone that might want help growing their business? That is it, right? And then sending that out to people that you already have some connection or some affiliation with. Really pretty straightforward to do. And I still do that even to this day. Let me see if I can find an example. So here's a good example, right? I'm going to walk you through an email I sent to an old client. I'm going to break down the email as well. So Mark is a solar company guy, right? Here's what the email says. Hey, Mark. Oh, no, this is different. Hold on. Been a while. Okay, cool. You see these? They say been a while, right? These are me reaching out to people. Let me show you a few examples, right? Here's one for me reaching out to this guy called Jack. Now, Jack is a plastic surgeon that I worked with way back, very, very briefly. It's been years, since then, but I'm like, let me send out a bunch of emails just because I feel like it'd be useful content for you guys and just to show you sort of how it's going, right? I'm like, hey, Jack, how's life been treating you, mate? How's the clinic going? Because I know that he runs a clinic. It's been a while, but I'm kicking off the new year, reconnecting with some old clients. Hope you've had a great holiday period. I've been busy over the last few years training digital marketers, but I've decided it's time to scale that down a bit and hop back into establishing brands. To be honest with you guys, I don't want to scale down MBA. I want to continue to do this and make this even bigger and bigger and bigger. But I also want some agency clients. So I just put that there just in case they would have seen like some of my ads and stuff like that in the past. And they thought, oh, he's not doing this anymore. I thought I'd mention it, right? So that's just some context there for you. If you know anyone that needs marketing help, let me know. If not, that's cool too, Zane. That's what I sent, right? He's like, hey, Zane, thanks for reaching out, mate. Hope you and your family are great. I'll send you some contacts your way, Jack. Thanks so much, legend. If I can ever do anything for you, let me know. It would be great to catch up. Boom. Okay. Cool. And he's got nothing to do with marketing. He's in plastic surgery. He's just some guy that I knew a while ago, right? So you don't have to copy this word for word, but it gives you an idea, right? So let's look at another one here. Exact same message, copy and paste it over to Mark. Now, Mark is a solar client that I did pay per lead once for. And I was going through some of the old campaigns, right? And this was actually one of the campaigns that we ran for Mark. And so these are all solar leads, right? They're all applications. If it's green, it was a sale. If it's red, it didn't go through. And I'm just scrolling, right? So you can see it's a full-on campaign here. We actually ran both a lead ad at first, and then we just built a very simple landing page. So in total, we have, I'm sorry for the flashing. Let me just count how many leads we have in total. Very bottom. All right, so 2,528, right, in total from one campaign in just Western Australia. So that's what we did, before. It's been a while since we worked together. I think that he was changing up his business. So I thought, maybe he's still in solar. Let me see what's going on. And then he's like, yes, let's talk. Kind regards. That's literally all he sent me. Which just goes back to like what we were saying before, right? Like, they're not going to give you what you want. He's like, oh yes, mate, and call you up right away. So it's just like, yeah, let's talk. And so that's all that he's done. All right, think about this like dating. He responds with this. Am I going to respond to him and be like, oh, great, well, here's my terms, here's my pricing, here's all the stuff and everything? No, I'm going to keep it casual. I'm just like, keen. Let me know when you're free for a chat. And he responds, today is good. How about in 20 minutes? No worries, I'll call you then. Sounds good, mate. Looking forward to your input. And he actually double emailed. When someone like double texts you in a dating situation, you're like, oh, that person's keen. Right there. That's what we're talking about, right? So yeah, this was cool. So we caught up. It was a 15-minute conversation. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, yeah, look, I haven't been doing solar for a while, but I'm really keen to get back into it this year. I'm talking to investors in my business. I want to build out my team again and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't know. I thought I'd just call you and sort of see what you need and then, see if I can actually help. I do have a little bit of time, but yeah, like I know that we had a really good campaign before. I'd love to see if we can revisit that. So he was like, yeah, all good, cool. Well, here's what I want to do. Let me know what you think. I'm like, all right, sounds good. So this is what I sent next, right? Now I got to a point where I had a conversation with him. And this is something that someone I knew from way back, right? Same deal when you're dealing with, someone new. Like you actually have to have a conversation with them. Like, yeah, actually I'm kind of keen. I'm like, okay, cool. So what we did is we organized a follow-up call, and in between the follow-up calls, I sent him this. I'm like, hey, Mark, check out this video I made here. Quick overview of the marketing strategy and lead generation. Watch this video. It will give you an idea of what I think we could do here. Obviously, it's based on, stuff that I've done in the past, which I have experience, right? If you don't, be like, obviously, this is my best guess as to what will work well, but this is something we can improve on over time. And I'll have other people who I know personally help us by looking over the campaign. You can say something like that instead. So I imagine we can start generating leads right away. We'd focus on Facebook and Instagram, which is what you guys do. But then I also said, maybe in the long term, we can think about another platform as well. And I'm like, the best strategy that I found is to be on the consumer's side and just tell them we're going to find the best deal on solar and the best option for them. Let me know if this is in line with what you're thinking. Okay. So I sent him a Loom video, and I actually also sent him a proposal document, right? Which is something that I have on hand. I think that we give you one as well in the program, like a template one. And this will show you sort of how to improve it. And this is one that I've been using for a while. And like my agency was called Maverick. I don't even call it Maverick anymore. I call it Lead Launch, but like I didn't even bother changing it. I just, used the old branding, right? Because you think your brand means a whole lot. It really doesn't, and like I'm happy just to use this one. So yeah, it's a proposal. It's kind of like a little bit cheesy. I look at it now. I'm like, we're all about creating Maverick brands and kind of like who we are and whatnot. It's a bit of copy in it and everything. But what I do in here is I put a funnel map in here, and then I put some people that I've worked with in the past in here. I put some screenshots of what ads look like. I do this as well, which is a breakdown of all the stuff that I'm going to do for them. So like we're going to figure out the strategy. We're going to design the actual like ads and the funnel and copyright it and all of this stuff. We're going to do the technical stuff. We're going to launch it for you. And then you're going to get as needed consulting. And this is just really breaking down all the little bits and bobs that you guys would do anyway in launching a campaign, just as line items and attaching a price to it. And, we're saying it's this much, in terms of like total value, of the work being done. Okay. Now, I put in here that I want 3K in terms of ad money to launch it. And I just put a summary of all the things that we do here. And then I put the pricing down here at the bottom. Now, the way that I do pricing is I figure out roughly, give or take, what their budget is, ahead of time, because I don't want to, do something too crazy, to begin with, because if we're starting small, we're starting small. So we're going to do this one at $2,200 monthly for 6 months. So I've actually put a limit of time frame of 6 months here. And this will give him 100 leads per month. Anything above is $20 per lead. That's how this particular agreement is structured, right? And this is a good example of a large well, I have to explain this, $2,200 per month for 6 months, all right? There's a commitment there, but I could have just charged 15K, right? But what I'm gonna do is this here, we're gonna split it out over 6 months, but I actually work with a company, far out, my mouse is freaking out. I actually work with a company that I can submit this to them and they will give me the entire 6 months up front. So basically, if we wanted to, we could take 15K cash just for the build, and we've got to give this person 100 leads every month, but they're covering the ad spend, right? And anything above 100 leads, we get $20 a lead. So that's an idea. And so what I've done is in this video, if we watch this video, it's like 6 minutes, and I decided to showcase some of the leads that we've generated in the past. Now, if you've generated lists of leads like this, you have epic proof. So you can just be like, hey, here's an example of some of the leads that we've generated in the past. Like actually show a tangible example. And they'd be like, holy shit, okay. This person knows what he's talking about. And so this is the landing page of what the solar campaigns that we've run looks like as well here. And start running. We can get leads going pretty quickly. I would use this as a base and we go ahead and adapt it a little bit for your business and your brand. So it's like, find out if your home is eligible for the WA $0 solar package and get the best current deals. How high is your electricity bill? A bunch of options. They click that and they move over into a form. Okay. Free online solar assessment. Calculate exactly how much you could save on solar. Find the best savings and system for your home. Find out if you can pay $0 out of pocket and claim thousands in incentives. We've helped over 4,400 WA homeowners find the best solar package. Here, right? So very, very simple page. I'll see if I've got a link. Here's another example of a different variant of that page. It shows like a before and after, type of thing. It shows the solar panels. This is not the main version of the page, but like that's about it. Like there's nothing too much more to this page. It's very, very simple actually. So, hey, if we can work together again over the next 6 months, and if we look at the date ranges of these ads here, right? When was this generated? Let's see if I can find time. So it looks like this is September. And then here at the very beginning, we've got January, right? So this is roughly 6 months that we worked together back in 2020. So in 6 months, we did 2,500 leads, right? If we can do the same thing here over the next 6 months, then we would be dealing with 15K in retainers and another 50K if we got 20 bucks a lead per in lead commissions, right? So it's actually a $65,000 agreement. So yeah, obviously he knew about me in the past, but like even if he didn't, if I had a good conversation with him and I said this exact same thing and I had a follow-up call booked, there's a good chance that I'll sign this person up, right, to a solar agreement. So this is actually a good example of what could be a 50, 60K overall client, right? The other thing that you can do is if you're not comfortable charging large sums as well, you can always say any type of commissions kicks in once you make your money back. that's another thing that you can do. It's called a risk reversal. Right? I'll explain a little bit more about that soon. So there's your examples of the do you know anyone method, right? And that's an example of like if you've done work with people, right? But obviously you don't have to have done work with people to use this. You can also use it if if you've actually worked with people. So the second thing is you can create personal posts, right, in groups. There's a bunch of really good groups. Digital Marketers Australia is a good example of one. I'll see if I can open it up in a new window and show you an example of a post that gets clients. Okay. Give me a sec, okay? Man, looking at this document, like I'm gonna have to expand on this for a while, but hopefully you guys are enjoying this so far and getting a little bit of value. Okay, let me have a look here. No, I don't have an example in this group. Okay, so if we look at this group, right? This is a group here of digital marketers. And you'll find people posting in relation to digital marketing all the time in here. Now, one of the things that you can do is just come in here in the same, you know how you guys made a video when you joined this, right? And you were like, hey, this is who I am and what I do and everything. There's kind of like, there was a specific reason we made you do that because it's something they've been meaning to get you guys to do is if you could do it in like a group like this, but maybe not a video if you don't feel congruent doing that, but like even just a picture of you being like, hey, what's up? Sort of saying hi. And then with words and with copy, kind of like making a little ad for yourself, be like, hey, my name is Grant. I'm new to digital marketing, really excited about this. Josh joined Digital Marketers Australia, here to contribute and help and learn. I'm currently thinking about, mostly working with service businesses and really keen to do an internship or to get some trial projects running. If you or anyone wants some marketing help, feel free to connect with me or send me a message, right? And just putting that out there, that'll get results as well, especially if you can make it personal in some way. Like I've seen so many people just do that in here and they get 10, 20, type of response, be like, hey, welcome to digital marketing, cool. And this happens, right? So that's another thing that's just an easy win if you're a beginner, like posting in groups or connecting in groups. And then the process in the program, which is like collect a list of 100 businesses that you would really ideally like to work with, right? And just stop at nothing until you've contacted all 100 of them. And I mean properly, you actually tried to reach them. If you could do 5 a day for every working day, you would get through 100 in a month, okay? And it doesn't mean you have to be doing this forever, but that first 100 there, you'll have opportunity, happen as a result of that. So that's how you do the low-hanging stuff, the beginner stuff, right? And your goal is really like build your connections, right? So you could do email outreach as well, which we go through in the program, sending out emails, and you can also do LinkedIn outreach, like connecting with people on LinkedIn. These are all free, easy ways to get your first clients. Have you done all of them? Like if you don't have clients right now, like have you done these things? If you haven't, this is why. You just got to do them. So the goal, if you're a beginner, is complete trial campaigns and then transition to paid agreements. That's the most congruent way that we found to do this. Your goal is also to find an aligned and profitable niche. It doesn't mean that your first niche is going to be aligned and profitable, right, from the very beginning. And that's okay, because at least you're getting out there and working with businesses. And then collect testimonials and goodwill. Ask for referrals. I've just shown you an example of asking for a referral, but then getting the person, someone who did give me a referral, and then someone who I asked for a referral and he gave me his own business, I guess, right? So with the clients, you guys that are working with clients right now, have you asked for any testimonials or goodwill in return? So, even if they're just willing to kind of go on your LinkedIn and provide a positive testimonial, that would be great. If they're willing to film a video for you, that would be even better. And this should be part of your conversation at the very beginning. It's like, I'm doing this because I want the testimonials. Why am I harping on so much about the testimonials? Because this is the key. You collect a few of these, you get to transition into the next stage, right? Which is expert, because you figured out a niche that you want to focus on and that you want to get into, and you got a couple of testimonials right in there as well. So it's clear that you're not doing it for the first time. Once you have that, you should feel really congruent to start and charge for it. And that's step 2, right? So you're going to do all this to get clients, and then you got to get decently comfortable closing deals, right? And what that involves is a call to discuss their business, right? Which is what I explained happened with Mark, their business strategy, their goals, their blocks, right? And anything that they currently have that could be helpful, like their assets, like, oh yeah, we've got images, we've got testimonials, we've got everything. Like, okay, amazing. Generally, the phone call that you're doing at first is not you selling anything. It's just to discuss their business. Like, what are their goals, right? What do they want to get to? Then you want to do a follow-up call to overlay a strategy for growth and then close. Now, what I would do is I would film a Loom video between the call, break down exactly what I'm doing, and then use the final call for question and answer, right? And really straightforward. So this first call is like 15 minutes. This second call, maybe half an hour, maybe, if they've got questions, right? And don't overdo it. Like, don't over explain. If you look at this, I'm really not going into too much detail because I've got a blueprint and a video there. So if he wants to watch, he can watch, sort of thing. But it's low investment on mine. It took me 5 minutes to type this up, 5 minutes to make a video, and I just sent him over the document I had anyway. So yeah. All right. And then how you actually deliver for the business is they say yes to you, be like, okay, great. I need about a week or 2 weeks to get everything going, but we'll set up a campaign. Now we show you how to do ads setup, right? Because it's for businesses that don't have an existing audience. It works for everybody because you're just setting up advertisements for them from the very beginning. But if they have an existing audience, one thing I haven't spoken about too much before is the idea of like, you can actually just activate their existing audience, right? So if I look at this, we've got 2,500 people here before that inquired about solar. I can send out an email to all of these people from day one and get a result for the business. So if I have that, like if they have an existing audience, you can pretty well charge something for it. Like if their existing audience is 5K, be like, oh, okay, awesome. So what I would do is I would send out an email for you. And the email could be like, hey, you still interested in solar? It could literally be that simple. And that's one of the highest converting emails that I've ever created. Hey, you still interested in X, right? People just don't do it. Like they don't do the simple, small, little things. You send out an email like that, people will reply, you get leads, you get action happening, and you set up their ads as well. So, man, if you're confident, you could be like, it's 5K, and then when you make your money back, it's just X amount per lead. That's a really easy offer, to charge 5-6K for, because they're going to make their money back. They need to make one sale. And if they've got a list already, you just fire off an email and then you set up some ads for them. And as soon as they make that first sale, that's it. Like, and that 5K, if they can't afford it then and there in that first month, that's okay. Just split it up, over a couple of payments. So that's how you transition eventually into paid stuff, right? So the payment process is performance done for you, right? Which means that you're gonna, like for a lot of you guys, you're doing trials, which is $0 down and then X per result, or you sit down with them, you do a retainer afterwards, right? So that's how you're doing it at the very beginning. Now you can run with this process and get your first 10 clients and everything and really fill out, right? And learn a lot and earn while you learn and get things going, because you only need like a few good paying relationships, and then you're good. And you can really start moving on to stage 2, right? Moving into the expert stage. And this is where you can like more and more confidently call yourself a digital marketer, and also say that you've got experience in a particular niche. The expert's goal is to get really good at one business type or audience type, have proof points in that niche. So you've got some testimonials or some case studies to leverage, or similar niches. So like if you're doing dance classes, you don't have to go just work with dance class businesses. You can go one level up and you can work with any business that is trying to fill a studio, gyms, all those types of businesses that are similar to that, right? And those proof points and testimonials will work really well for that as well. You don't have to feel like you're stuck in a niche. You can find businesses that sell similar priced things or similar audiences and industries, right? And approach as someone who can help them / is an expert, right, from the beginning, or has done this before. A lot of people are intimidated by the idea of expert. Like, don't I need to invest years of my life? Don't I need to like have a degree or something to be an expert? No, you just need to know something that somebody else doesn't and have done it before, so you can guide them and help them do it. That's really all you need. So that's the goal of the expert. Now, at this stage of your journey, you might consider setting up more of an expert style of brand. Maybe you want a simple website for your business, or maybe a link tree. You might even start thinking about creating your own marketing, like putting together your own lead magnets, okay? You can start even running your own ads, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. It's either you're creating your own expert brand, which is like yourself, like your personal face, for those of you guys that are comfortable, with that. If you're not, then create a company brand instead. Okay. So this is like your agency, or what I like to do is a company that's not just an agency, but it's kind of related to the industry. So like if I was doing like, let's say landscaping, I wouldn't create landscapingagency.com. I would create landscapelegends.com, something just a little bit more broader, than that. So I can run ads to it. I can work with agencies to it, with businesses with it, and do a bunch of different stuff, right? Hopefully this is making sense. You can put together that brand website, create your own lead magnets as well. At this stage, you should know how to do mass email outreach and mass LinkedIn stuff. So we have training on this, like GMass is what we use here. And there's a bunch of LinkedIn tools that will allow you to do that, but like there's a cap on LinkedIn. So it's not really even that LinkedIn needs to be mass. Maybe you can get a virtual assistant or something to respond to your messages, but mass email for sure. You can also open up personal ads, like running your own ads at this point. And this is why maybe you should consider making a lead magnet. So what is a lead magnet? It could be a free PDF specifically for your type of business that you want to work with, right? So like, let's say you've worked with landscaping companies, or home improvement sort of companies, right? Let's call it home transformation companies, right? Companies that transform people's homes. I would make a lead magnet that goes something like how we generated 150 leads in less than 2 weeks just by creating one very, very simple advertisement, a free guide for landscaping companies, and that is something that you can run ads with. Like you can put that out there for people to download, and they give you the name, their email, and phone number, and they fill your list up and they become your leads, right? Or you can run just a straight up offer to book a consultation, just like you do, for your business as well, just simply for yourself, right? And I would only really do this if I had some cash flow coming in, like enough that I can justify running my own advertisements, because you can get a lot done with this, right? And the client delivery is very much the same. This is really the whole 12K plus type of thing. It's like, I'm getting into a business, I'm looking, do they have any existing audience that I can activate? I'm going to set up ads for them for sure. I might do more than just leads. I might do like an actual appointment booking landing page, or I might do lead magnets, right, for them as well. On top, I will set up cold advertising for them, which is just regular ads to everybody. But you can also do stuff like retargeting, which is like showing ads to their existing audience, right? And then I would also put together an email sequence for the leads that come through. Okay, so that's like a proper setup. And the payment way to do this, what I would recommend is doing something like a performance-based project almost. Like that's the way that I would think about it. So I'd be like, it's 6K or 1K a month for 6 months, and there are providers out there that you can use that will front you this entire sum of money and then take over the payment plan. One of them is called Procure It, right? This company, although I think they have some criteria, right? They will just simply give you the entire agreement that you have with the business fronted to you, and they will handle all the payment plans. Until you're really established, there's no use in you going out and getting a solution like this, but there are solutions out there that do this, and they just take a fee. They might take like $500 out of the entire thing. So when you get better and better at this game, you start to access more tools, more options, these types of things where, you might even start to leverage finance, right? Anyway, when it comes to this, it's like, let's say 6K to 20K setup, then X per result is one easy way that I would recommend doing that. If they can't afford the 6K, then split it up for them. Really simple. And that's the payment process, right? But the actual way to land clients is exactly the same. The only difference is whether or not you're congruent and confident in doing it, whether or not you've had some experience before, in that particular niche. Even if you've got a couple, like one case study, two, then charge something, for the next one. Don't be afraid to do it. And even if they say no, well, it's like, it's not the end of the relationship. You can always go back to them and be like, hey, I actually really think it would work quite well for your business. Let me know what works for you guys so it's not going to stress you out. And maybe we can just set it up as a trial because I think you would do really well. It's okay for you to ask and negotiate. Like if they say no, you can change it, right? A lot of people, like let's say you're running for a job interview, and usually when you're doing a job interview, the salary range is between 70K to 90K, let's say. Two people, exactly the same qualifications, right? One gets 90, one gets 70. Why does this person get 90? Well, it's because he was willing to ask for more and he was willing to negotiate, right? So you might as well ask, because if they say no, you think that it's the end of the relationship, but it's not. It's just, no, I can't do it. Well, why can't you do it? Oh, okay, then it's on you and you can alter the terms of the agreement, right? And in fact, I think the counterintuitive thing is the more that you engage in this type of discussion, like how are we going to make it work? And, you're open to doing that with somebody, the more likely it is to work because you're both actively engaging in problem solving to get something happening, right? To get something started. Is this making sense? Yeah, cool. So that's the high level overview of the complete journey. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Like obviously we went through into the future. One step at a time. It's okay to build on this stuff, brick by brick. I did it because I want to show you that it's possible with examples, of what you can do, in the future. And I hope that excites you and doesn't overwhelm you, too much. Yeah. So that's the quick overview. We're obviously going to be going into more detail on all these things. I'm going to be expanding on these ideas and doing more stuff related to getting clients. But hopefully, you guys will follow along there, and we can go on this journey and expand on this. And I'm also willing to hop on more calls as well and make a lot, like this program, a lot more about just getting clients, right? Just doing deals, having a pipeline, filling it up with new potential opportunities for yourself. And I think maybe that's the best way, because like once you start doing this, man, when you guys close that first big deal, it's going to freaking change your life, and that's what I want for all of you. So I noticed a couple of questions. Ben says, this is exactly what I'm up to right now. Apologies for not stepping out. Yeah, no worries. That's awesome to see an example of the steps involved and seeing more different examples of how to get clients. Saying great overview info. Do we get access to your Zoom notes you were using, please? Thanks. Yeah, I can send those over. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, I will add this as a PDF into the group tomorrow and just give you the recording as well of this session. You can just go back and watch this entire process. And then, like as you go through, I understand it might be a lot, because it's an overview of everything, right, of the entire thing, and this could take a year, you know, to get to this point. But if you need any more depth on any one of these particular things, you got questions around any one of these particular things, hell, just ask it now in the chat if something does pop up for you. But what I'm going to be doing is looking for your questions, looking for your engagement. Like, you actually want to get out there, you want to get clients. If I can see you guys leaning in, I will give you as much of what I know and what I can as possible, because we will be adding more of this into the program over time as well. So we're at 8:30, guys. We've been going 90 minutes. It's good to be back, you know, and doing sessions like this. They're exhausting, but I can get a lot of energy out of them as well, in a way. Yeah, does anybody have any questions at this point? Let me know in the chat. If not, I think we're going to wrap it up for this call, you know, for today. And if you don't have questions, just post in there. How you guys feeling? How are you feeling at the moment about all of this? Glad you're excited, Sam. That's great. Epic. Recharged. Awesome. Grant says, if we can all put examples of how we signed up clients in a step-by-step type of story. Yeah, you know, in the forum. Yeah, I think that would be great. It'd be very useful, you know. And that's one thing, like, I feel like sometimes people are out, you know, just doing stuff and not really sharing too much, not leaning in. I'm like that as well. Like, to be honest with you, I do struggle to check in, you know what I mean? Because I'm always thinking about the next thing or worrying or in my own head or doing something. But it is so valuable when you guys do choose to share. So if you've got an awesome story about how you landed a client, you've got even a challenging story or whatever, you know, posting and sharing it is valuable for everybody, but I think also for you just to get it out of your own head and get feedback on it. So I definitely agree with Grant. Cool, everyone's fired up, amazing. Guys, it was really good to see you all. And yeah, recording will be available in the group tomorrow. And then please answer that survey for me, or comment on it, you know, in the inner circle if there is, you know, something that you want to add or other things that you want to see in this program. And you've also got your commitments in terms of what you're working on for the coming week. I think that's still pretty useful for you guys to do to stay accountable. And that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.